All right, so I got basics 3 in front of me here. Hopefully, first 3 you run through pretty easy. Number 1, we're just, making sure we can do the distributive property here. Number 1 could be done a different way, and I'll do it the other way, but it just depends on the numbers you see. So 2 times 4x is 8x. 2 times negative 8 is negative 16. We're still equal to 12. We're going to add 16 to both sides. That'll give us 28. And we're going to divide out that 8. And 28 and 8 are both divisible by 4, right? 28 over 4 is 7. 8 over 4 is 2, so 7/2. Seems right. Now, what I could have done on this one, because I noticed these are both even, is I could have initially, let me rewrite the original equation down, I could have initially divided both sides by 2. And then I would have had something easier to work with, right? So I add 8 and I get 14. I divide by 4 and I still get 7/2. So it's up to you how you do it. Number 2, nothing wrong with number 2. I'm going to move my x's right, my numbers left, because there's more x on the right. The right is going to be the 9x that was there, plus this one, because if we jump equality, we change our sign. Left-hand side had a 9. Going to move 17 over. She's going to become positive. We're going to do that in mental math. 9 and 17 is 26. And 9 and 9 is 18. Then we're just going to divide by the 18 and reduce the fraction. So 26 and 18 are both even. So they're divisible by the number 2. 26 over 2 is 13. 18 over 2 is 9. There's my x value. All right, number 2. 2's got a fraction. First thing you do in algebra is you do the easy stuff first. That's what we do. And the easy thing to do is subtract 2. So 2/3 of x plus 5 is now 6. I would not do anything silly like distribute that 2/3, because you're going to have fractions, and you want to avoid fractions. So what I'm going to do to eliminate the fraction is I'm going to 3 both sides. I'll have my cancellation on the right. And of course, I know how you guys feel about writing things down, but whatever. You do you. I'll flunk you. Distributive properties up next. Twice x plus 5 must be 2x plus 10. Still equal to 18 on the right. We're going to subtract 10. 18 minus 10 is 8. And then we're going to divide by 2. A lot of kids tell me I go too fast. I think I go too slow. But if I go too fast, hit the pause button. I'm pretty sure you can slow the speed on YouTube. Number 4 is absolute value. And this probably hasn't been done with you since Algebra 1. But with absolute value, you write 2 equations. The first one is as is. So the first one is 3x minus 5, and it's equal to 12. Notice I talk about it having 2 answers because I think about its shape. It's because it does. This is 12, horizontal line. 3x minus 5 is going to be to the right just a little bit. And it's going to look something like this. It has 2 answers. But it's about the intersection of 2 points here. So we have 2 answers. That's what I'm saying. Think about shape. It's a V. It could have 2 answers, 1 answer, no answer. The second, we change the signs on the stuff inside. And I don't know if Garner taught it this way or not. It's just how the ACT's been doing it. It's actually the proper way. Because what's inside is either a positive number or a negative number, and the distance happens to be 12. So, or negative 3x plus 5. Notice I changed both signs, is equal to 12. Now, if you can get past the writing 2, you're in business. A lot of kids can't. They just can't accept in their hearts there's going to be 2 answers. Probably because they never learned that absolute value is a V. It's going to have 2 answers usually. We subtract 5. 12 minus 5 is 7. We divide by negative 3. And our answer is negative 7/3. There you go. Which is kind of what I was saying. I said I had an x value that was positive and I had an x value that was negative. I think about what a problem looks like before I do a problem. Like number 3, I realized that could be mx plus b. One answer. It's a line. Whether that makes sense to you yet or not, I don't know. Number 5 is one of those things where very few kids can do it. I probably should have made it R. Let's change that before I hit the print. Solve it for R. So some kids don't understand understood symbolism. In between the pi symbol and r squared, there's a multiplier. And in between r squared, there is an h. And the opposite of multiplication, I should just write that out. Multiplication is division. Don't be the kid who thinks it's subtraction or something like that. Like how do you breathe? I don't know. But to counteract the multiplication of both pi and h, I do division. And if I do it to one side, I do it to the other because I understand the property of equality. Anyway, so now I've divided out the pi's and the h's. I'm left with r squared. And the opposite of squaring must be square rooting. It must be. So I take the square root of the right, and if I take the square of the right, I have to take the square of the left. Now the square and the square root cancel each other out and free up r. And here we have volume is divided by pi times the height is r. It says, P.S. What is that the formula for? That is the volume of a cylinder. Hopefully you knew that. All right, the ACT questions. These are not optional. What is the slope-intercept form of negative 8x plus 2y equals 12? Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. M is your slope, b is your y-intercept. So we've got to make this look like y equals mx plus b. That's the goal. We want a y. So we're going to add 8x to both sides. 2y is 8x plus 12. We're going to divide by 2. And we're going to have y equals 4x plus 6. That is the slope-intercept form of that line. The next one down here is talking about the tangent of angle A. So I'm going to write down something you guys learned last year. It's called SOHCAHTOA. Sine would be opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. And tangent is opposite over adjacent. So I'm at angle A. This is my angle of interest. And opposite of angle A is little a. And adjacent to angle A is little c. And of course, right angle makes this the guy the hypotenuse. All I want is the tangent. So the tangent of angle A is the opposite side length A over the adjacent side length C. Basic SOHCAHTOA. Basic. SpongeBob could do it. Oh, actually, I need to probably, I'm going to keep going. Getting about time to stop. Distributive property, 5 times 4 is 20, x times x is x squared. 5x times 2 would be 10, don't forget the x. And this is where I need to stop because I've got a class coming in just a minute. So I'll do this as a two-parter.